And let's finish this with the test way. Oh no, that's not good. Disney is already backing themselves into a corner with their new attraction, the Magic of Disney Animation, and as you just saw, I've already got an idea to get them out of it. So let's get started. If you weren't aware, Disney is currently working on a massive change to transform the former animation courtyard at Hollywood Studios into the Walt Disney Studios lot. A new stage show featuring Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is replacing Disney Junior Playing Dance, and Star Wars Launch Bay is being dramatically changed into Off the Page, which is inspired by Once Upon a Studio. The footprint for Launch Bay was huge, so there's plenty of space for their list of new activities such as a drawing class, an Alice in Wonderland playground, portraits coming to life, a short film, and multiple meet and greets in areas themed to Disney animation. Now, some of these changes I'm completely on board with, especially the playground, since it sounds like it's indoors, potentially? Studios desperately needs a place for families to cool off that isn't in a line, so that's a great addition. My problem is that without something big and interesting to continue to draw people in, Off the Page is going to suffer the same fate as Launch Bay. Having the Sorcerer's Hat return to Hollywood Studios and act as a focal point like Tower of Terror or Cinderella Castle is a great and wonderful idea. However, I don't think that's going to be enough to keep guests coming over to Off the Page. What we know about Off the Page so far is that there are going to be 6 different areas themed around departments of Disney's animation studio, which is the setting for Once Upon a Studio, and thus the setting of this location as well. While we haven't been told too much since the initial announcement of the Magic of Disney Animation, we do know the names of all 6 departments and even some of the characters that can be met in them. The first is the Story Department that houses a meet and greet with Mulan, and then the Background and Layout Department where you can find Rapunzel. The other 4 departments are Hand-Drawn Animation, Computer Animation, Lighting, and Effects. As of reading the script, these 4 don't have any real info on them. And don't get me wrong, the idea of having PhotoPass spots that are designed around animation concepts, some of which Disney helped pioneer, is incredibly interesting. The problem I have is that Launch Bay also had a lot of interesting things in it. While the main event was the meet and greets, and that eventually just stopped being visited by most guests. Take the short film. The only description we have thus far is, quote, "You'll find inspiration with a short film with a twist, of course," unquote. This could be a chance for a brand new short, with the twist being Disney having characters jump out of the movie as a different kind of 4D show. Or, most likely, it'll instead be like the Magic Eye Theater at Epcot and take an existing short, most likely Once Upon a Studio, and give it some sort of physical effects to make it worth at least a one-time visit. Add that to the only announced meet and greet characters already having other spots around Disney World, and it kind of seems like this was a break glass in case of emergency situation to allow the return of the Sorcerer's Hat to Hollywood Studios for the younger guests at the time, who are now adults, like yours truly. However, I think Disney already has everything they need to ensure that guests have a reason to return to Off the Page multiple times. As I've talked about previously, Disney Cruise Line and the Magic Band team created a Haunted Mansion-based scavenger hunt for the Disney Band Plus on board the Disney Treasure. Haunted Mansion Happy Hunt is a near perfect example of what Disney could be doing with the various departments of Off the Page. It just needs a little more tweaking. And if not Happy Hunt, then perhaps Uncharted Adventures, which could be replicated with the Play Disney app instead of the Magic Band Plus. Disney has already told us that there will be portraits moving with various characters, but I think there could be more done here. The easy answer is to reuse the tech from Happy Hunt and use it with new portraits and characters with at least one mission in every department. That actually points us in the direction of Pirate's Adventure over in Magic Kingdom or DuckTales World Showcase in Epcot. Multiple missions for an interactive game automatically gives it replayability even if guests don't go on every single mission. But there could also be incentive for it with a free item based on the department that houses that specific mission. This is already seen across multiple paths for Pirates and DuckTales Adventures, so adding a prize per path style of retention isn't out of the realm of possibility, especially for an attraction that is brand new and an actual focus. Honestly, the real problem is that it's hard to truly design any sort of game when we know so little of the actual details, and they could be announced at any time. such as the morning that I post this. We haven't been shown how the characters are supposed to be acting like they were in Once Upon a Studio, so the best approach here is one that's not quite as satisfying as I'd like it to be. I think the best option is to take characters that are real showcases for each category, which seems to be what Disney is doing with the meet and greets they've selected thus far. As a basic proof of concept for the game, having Mulan supporting cast for one of the missions and story, and then doing the same with Rapunzel's supporting cast for background and layout could give you themed interactions with those characters. That way, we're still following Disney's big there's only one of each character rule, with Rapunzel and Mulan not actually being in their games, and it gives more time for other characters to shine. Maybe pull inspiration from the cruise line and have Rapunzel's mission be about her birthday, with her friends trying to find specific things for her. And you could pull from Mulan too with the princesses so that her cast has a bit more reason to not have her be there. The important thing to remember is that this whole area is exclusively based on Disney's animation studio, so Pixar won't show up for the computer animation section. Considering how Disney has been focusing on the princesses, I'd be very surprised if Moana doesn't end up representing either computer animation or effects. While either one would realistically work for her, we'll put her into effects, as that then gives Disney a chance to use one of their other 3D characters for computer animation. But until we're shown otherwise, it's probably going to be a princess, so we'll put Raya into this slot since the other 3D princesses are either claimed or can't be used, so sorry Merida. Hand-drawn animation is next, but this is a tough one. Little Mermaid and Belle arguably can't be used here since they've got shows going on in this park, and the live-action Little Mermaid had a consistent meet and greet up until the construction started for this area. So to play it safe, we'll put in Pocahontas. Her cast of characters feels like it could be interesting to create missions with, and it gives her a spot that's a bit more centralized, unlike the Oasis of Animal Kingdom, where she has her main meet and greet spot. Which only leaves lighting. This is one of those unsung heroes of animation and just entertainment in general. If it's great, then nobody will say a word about it, but when it sucks, it will be heavily trashed. I feel like this is going to end up having Tiana from Princess and the Frog be the meet and greet, so for the sake of a proof of concept, her cast would star in this mission here. Now that the setting for every section is done, the last thing is the actual gameplay. I've got two options at the moment. If Disney went exclusively Magic Band Plus, then the game would play similar to Happy Hunt or Pirate's Adventure, where you go to the starting point and then interact with the specific points on your path. Maybe the starting point could even do something cool to show you which section your mission is in, such as having a specific color, and that color also showing up on the Magic Band Plus. Then the actual missions could use motion tracking cameras, similar to the way Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom use cameras to read the cards, and players would be able to partake in minigames that way, if they wanted to go that route. Otherwise, just have them wave at the screen with the Magic Band and interact that way. The second option is to start the game like Galactic Bounty Hunters, where you tap in with your Magic Band Plus, and then you can use the Play Disney app to take over your camera, which would provide an interesting experience, especially being in the same park. But instead of just being able to ignore the Play Disney prompt, there could be mini games that you use your phone to complete the mission. So essentially combining Bounty Hunters with Uncharted Adventures from the Disney Wish. I don't know if this idea works quite as well since it removes the simplicity of just interacting with the Magic Band Plus or just having the Play Disney app, but it could actually present a nice excuse to finally bring Disney Me into the theme parks. Heck, they could even reuse some of the assets for pets like Tiana's if they wanted to go that route. This has been a very fun project to work on. It's just been difficult coming up with ideas while waiting to see if Disney would do a surprise announcement for more info on the magic of Disney animation, so I didn't want to get too far into the weeds and just have them completely blow it away. Since they haven't announced anything though, and please tell me in the comments if they did morning of, I am glad to have finally finished this. And who knows, maybe they'll even announce something similar to increase the longevity of the magic of Disney animation. I guess we'll have to just wait and see. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!